This is going to be cool. We are launching up the sales side because the production line is ready. It took a lot of work getting this far, but we really did pull this off. I just want to say hi to Christian, the guy calling in from Germany. And so if that's the case, then there you have it. It's just a guy who's up quite late. It's very cool. Make sure to make it worth your while somehow here, Christian. Hang in there. All right. So anyway, you guys know the situation that happened before is we kind of got going and we got the production line started, but we weren't ready to launch it because we had to do some runs and get a grip on that and write out documentation, understand the job, go through it. And the first runs that came through, we evaluated, took good, hard looks at them and said, what's good about them, what isn't so good about them. We want to make sure to dial in, basically as much perfection as humanly possible within the project scope. And so we decided to absolutely focus on quality before launching the production line openly to the public, and we had to focus also on speed. And so both of those goals have been met. Stephen, how'd you put earlier? You were talking about the runs that are coming out. Now that I got the recording going on, you could kind of review that real quick. How long is it taking now, and how are things looking?
Let's see. Certainly within just, like 4 to 5 days, I believe the last batch was taking, honestly.
And the batch, it was what, the last, 4 jobs, something like that?
Four, and then, of course, then finally number 8, the last one, finally came through. But, yeah, the jobs 4 through 7 are actually now at phase 9, and as far as the dry runs, that's the last phase. So those are almost virtually finished. And I think those were handed off, gosh, was it, I want to say it wasn't even a week ago. And even with a few glitches in there, some misunderstandings, and just learning jobs and whatnot, we still managed to kick it through like half to a third of the amount of time it took the first batch.
Oh, man, that's just so good. And how, because you were talking about it too, they're looking sharp by now, right?
Oh my gosh, oh my word, yeah, and it's just so awesome to see how by the time it was going to phase 8 and I was looking at them before I handed them on to 9, even just looking at the home page, I'd look at 4, 5, 6, 7, putting them up on my own panel and taking a look at them and even showing my wife, and she said, yeah, that looks like something someone would want to pay for. Yeah, they look that good.
That's cool. I like hearing
yes.
it. That is the point of having a professional line doing the jobs for your clients.
Yes.
And for all the sales guys, in case you didn't catch on to this before, I hear some of you guys are actually responding to the questions, Mark. You're pretty new. One of you guys is saying you've been here since yesterday, and some of you guys have been here just for a while. I just, don't recognize the names. Hold on one second. Okay. I want to say this. Here was the reason we created the production line, just to make sure I get this down in case no one knows. It's easy to sell T2H websites when you get going with them, and you don't need to have theme to HTML to do it. It just helps, because then you can show people samples. You can show them a demonstration or something when they ask. And believe it or not, that kind of a thing locks in a sell. And I'm not going to steal any of Brad's thunder. He's got all of his own stuff to say. But there are people I know who just said, "Let me show you an example," and they just put a screenshot up, just demo shot, and say, "If you want to see a demonstration of how easy this is for your website, get a hold of me and we'll just time it." And then they go in for free. They just show them the guys who would reply, "Yes, I'd like to see a demonstration." And then they'll say, all right, they'll schedule it in, and then they'll do something live. And they'll say, it'll be, hey, are you at your computer on your end? Well, while you're looking, let me do some things to the back end there. Refresh your screen, take a look at see how it changed. And people on the other end, after 2 or 3 changes, showing them what kind of control they have, would start just saying, wow, whoa, because that's it. You contact people that have lousy websites. They need good websites. They don't know anything about coding, obviously, because they have bad websites. This is for newbie salespeople. You just contact anyone with a lousy website, especially somebody who's brick and mortar. Doesn't have to be. Our templates, believe it or not, you can if you looked and thought, what about the cities we serve section? What about our services and features? In the back end, you can simply remove them. There's a button to flip them on or off. Okay, so it does not have to be brick and mortar anything. It can be any MLM opportunity online. It can be any ClickBank project. It can be anything anywhere that somebody wants a website for. We can do it. But the point I want to make is people get extremely interested fast. So all I want to say is if somebody asks you to show them through a demonstration, they are 95% of the way sold, and you're going to make them so hungry showing them anything with their site, how you would move an image over, and they suddenly want it. They want a professional run, done well, by you. What do? Sell it for a chunk dough, like $1,995, and then when they pay you, we're going to give you the simple procedure pretty soon. You turn around and you pay the wholesale to the line, and the line does the whole run, gets it all done, complete with SEO and everything else, and uploads it, the whole website, complete thing, and their domain, or we select a domain for them. That's part of the list to hand clients to figure this stuff out. And we just let you know they're done. Here's their login information so you can hand it back to your own client. And that way you, the salesperson, continue to work with your clients, and we have no right to discuss anything with them directly. We don't get to communicate with them. They don't need to know who we are or anything. It's just you and them. Okay? So you're white labeling. It's your business. You take payments indirectly. You pay by outsourcing to us, and we do the work. And what's the advantage? This. Everyone knows, and here's the way it's always been. It's been this way with themed HTML. It's been this way with Moji. It's like this with lots of things. If you sell a website and you get paid, you're happy. But now you got to do the work. And the work can take you a week. It can take you 2 weeks to get the client happy enough and get everything dialed in right. And some of it is hard for you to do maybe. So maybe you have trouble resizing images. Or maybe you don't. But maybe you have trouble dealing with good content. Or maybe you don't. But you don't know how to put a logo up properly or whatever. There's all these things you may not be able to do very, very well. Maybe you just totally suck at spelling. You cannot spell the word. And so your content won't come out that well. Well, when you can just hand the work off to someone else and they do it for you, that's the point of the production line. Everyone on it is an expert at what they do. And they only do that thing, and they have people working with them who only do that thing. And so they work in groups on your run to make sure it's perfect. And by the time it comes out the other end, like Steven's saying, they're hot. Your client's going to be very happy. And when you show them their access, when you just send them their login information and ask them to log in and take a look around, they're going to be completely and utterly thrilled. So what's the point? Instead of making one sale, maybe for $2,000 or whatever you want to sell for, okay? Obviously, all you need to know is what we charge on the line for wholesale, so you can charge anything above that. That's retail. They pay you retail, you pay us wholesale, and guess what? Instead of $19.95 and you do the work for 2 weeks, well, that would mean you only sell 2 a month. Now, that's $4,000 a month. But what happens if you could sell one for $19.95, and even if the run costs $9.95, you pass that across, you keep $1,000, and then you could just turn around and sell another one while you wait, and sell another one, sell another one, sell another one, sell another one, because you're not going to get bogged down. The only time involved is showing some demonstrations and then following up to show your clients the end result. Okay? There's that. Now, with that in mind, I want to say this. We learned long ago that sales teams usually need some assistance getting started. Some people have different ideas. Some people have, they've got skills at this but not at that, and they're just saying, how do I fill in the holes? Some of you guys here are saying, I have no problems talking with clients, but I need a better sales pitch. Some guys are saying, I can do the sales pitch, but who am I supposed to approach? There's all that kind of thing. So we realized we should create a sales manager who's a free resource for all of you guys who want to sell. And he's just a guy you turn to for questions. He's a guy who can put out recordings. He can put out documents. He can make your life dramatically easier. And that way, you don't really have to think too much. You just learn what you're doing. If you have any questions, you ask him. He'll tell you best practices, good ideas, things you can do. You turn around and do them. And your sales just keep going up. The sales manager's interest is in making sure you can pull off the sales. So if you need him or need him to assist you with a sale, a particularly tough client, or it's your first time around, then he's there for you. And this way you can keep going and figuring out what you want to do. So it's all good. All right, without further ado, let me introduce him. That's Brad Glazier. I'm going to see if I can figure out which of these links now is the right one for Brad. How you doing, Brad?
I'm doing just great. Cannot believe what's happening. I just cannot believe this. It's just going to be such an awesome, awesome ride. You know, I've been involved for such a long time with so many things, and I mean, this is like dead on in what we need to do and to help people advertise and get their businesses going and stuff. It's just, everything is just dead on, right on the money. So I'm thrilled to be part of this whole thing. Yes.
That's awesome. By the way, I sent you control for the screen. I think I got the right the right account. He's logged in as me, I think. So do you see it where you can put your screen on? No.
Nope.
All right. Let me try. This. I think I got it now. Let me see if that's correct.
Show my screen. I can do it now.
Aha. There we go. Now we got you up. And all right. I'll let you take it away at this point. I'll bow out and let you chat.
Cool.
Oh, by the way, tell everyone how you kind of found out about all this. Yeah.
Oh, sure. My little history is started almost a half a century ago. I've been involved with turbocharging, race cars, and natural gas and propane. Bought a company out that has been in business for 70 years, so I've been involved with the assembly line, and everything that Dave is doing, I'm got to tell you guys, is just dead on. He's preventing rework. And he's got the corporate team in place and making all this thing go smoothly. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. I got some feedback.
Oh no, who's that from?
Hello? Testing.
Hi, Sabrina. How you doing?
Maybe.
Webinar will begin shortly.
Okay. I think that was it. Okay, good. So we got I've been involved with the sales, and been involved with little guys, been involved with big guys, been involved with PG&E, Conoco, Nissan. I've been involved with governments and selling our manufactured our carburation equipment. So I have a little bit of experience there in sales. But one thing in all my 30 years of experience in sales is there was really no internet back then, and there was no way to advertise, and nothing ever grew. So back in the year 2000, I was out in a search to try to find Dave. I didn't know he was out there, but I was looking for something that had to do with some kind of automation that would have to do with advertising. And I got the hold of, I did some searches, and I found some macros and some batch files, and what Dave was doing was just unbelievable what he was starting to do in the year, 2010. And he was trying to develop this to make a website where it was going to be seen and help so many people. So I stayed involved and went through the process from the beginning, taking 4 months to 3 months to 2 months, and after now 4 years, when it got perfected, he even wanted to go even faster, and which I really appreciate, and that's why we developed the T2H team to get rid of the day's worth of work and now put it on the assembly line and make it even so much easier for the sales guys out there to do half the work. I mean, most of the work, I think, for the sales guys was not just trying to make the sale, but it was actually making the website after the sale was done.
Yeah, that's what always stops sales and stops everyone's income. You could make 10, 15, 20 times as much per year if you don't have to do the work. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so cool. So now the sales team, they don't have to worry about putting this whole thing together and not worry about it, but the time it takes to do something like that, and just pass it on. Just charge $1,900. You know, $1,000 goes to the team, and keep moving on. So to give you an idea, just recently this week, how easy something like this. I don't know if do we have time to talk about like one experience that I got?
let's talk about an experience. Since we're introducing you, a lot of it's that anyway. I mean, obviously, we can't cover the whole sales process today. We're getting people to understand who you are a bit and how to get a hold of you and what you're going to be providing and how to get on your list so you can let them know when you have things coming out for them.
Yep.
And the client form. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So I've been making my living with the emoji stuff for the past 4 years, and the T2H just recently when it got introduced, and I'm starting to apply it now. And so here's like a typical example of just a regular day of last week. I had a tire that blew out, and I went to Costco, had it repaired. It went flat again, and had another tire put on it, and went flat again. And so I decided, I'm going to find a tire wheel repair place. And I searched and I searched and I searched and I searched for 100 people and finally found somebody close by. So I went ahead and got in my car, and I didn't put it in my cell phone. So when I got there, because I knew basically where it was, I started hitting my cell phone. And I'm looking for this wheel repair place like I did it back at home. And I knew I was right there. And it said on my cell phone, 30 miles away for the nearest wheel repair place. Well, I eventually found the place, and I went up to the guy, and I says, I'm sorry I'm a little late, but you're not even on the internet on the cell phones. If somebody wants to find you, I mean, how in the world are you doing business? And most of the return feedback is always, well, I have a business and it's established, and I've been doing it for 5, 10, 15 years. I go, okay, so then you really don't need a presence on the internet. Oh no, I really want to get on the internet, but I don't know how, and that's how the conversation started. And I says, well, after I get my wheel repair, I'll come and see you. And after I got done with the wheel repair, we sat down, and pretty much everything that David just said, it just flowed very, very freely, and it was an easy sell. Because the guy didn't know anything about a website. He didn't have a website. He was interested, and when I provided him the ability that he could control his own website, imagine that, and we're not charging every single month a fee, and that website converts, and we have some examples to show the clients and what we do. It's so easy to not sell, but you're basically just there to consult them. It's not a hard selling thing, and that's the biggest point I guess I wanted to say is what we got going. It's so simple to just present it, and they fall in love with it, and they just call you right back, and they want in.
Yeah, that's been most of the experience with it, and it's the way you would expect. Well, that's cool. That's a heck of a great story.
Yeah, and it goes on, so the point is, it's easy to sell. Use your local market if you want, or whatever way you want to market this thing. I think that's pretty cool the way you present it, where people can go online and learn how to use the GoToMeeting and present it right there in front of them in a few minutes, what they can do, and how easy it is after they purchase our website and everything, and it's just very, very simple. Very, very simple. Yeah, so I'm here for you guys. I'm going to listen to all your feedback. I'm going to have questions and answers. I'll have a website up there so that when you have any questions, they're going to be up there so everybody can look at them all. Any type of videos that I can help you guys with that needs to be put up in the forum there, I'm willing to do my best job to put the most common helpful videos up there, and it should be like that anyway. It should be a very easy place to go to a website and step by step, 1, 2, 3, visual and audio, where all you do is just stay focused on the consumer and let all that hard work and the labor, let the T2H team take care of your website for you.
For your client.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, when we're doing demonstrations, I don't even use GoToMeeting. It's literally something I could do in a library well, I wouldn't because it's too loud, but if I happen to be out. And the reason I make that point is this. I can log into my admin panel on my demo account, since I have one, and I can do it from anywhere. I don't have to be home. I can be anywhere. And so I can get into my website and on the admin panel to do a demonstration from anywhere, like with a laptop or whatever. Even a tablet is possible. I haven't tried it, but I wouldn't doubt it. And I'll just ask the client to visit the link. And so they'll see the front end. And what I'll do is just show them how I can manipulate some things at the speed of light. Literally just, I'm doing this now, look at that. Say you want the contact us button over here. Say you want it over there. Say you want to put a video into the left sidebar. Da, 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 da. I just tell them to refresh the page and look for that. Refresh the page and look for that. And they start getting really interested. Now, if I wanted to on my demo account, I could ever notice that on theme.html in the back panel, you can change the password, and you can just change it on the fly. So I could make the password demo, and then just tell them what the link is to get into the back office now, and then put in admin and demo, and he's in. And what's the point? While I'm logged in on my end, he's logged in on the other side, or she is, whoever I'm showing, and they're already excited by the front end, and they're starting to ask, really, it's that simple? You're just like making these changes in the back end? It's like, yeah, let me show you. And literally, I just let them into the back end because they want to now, and I start pointing out little things back there that they can do and let them make an adjustment I just made. You know what? Oh, that just makes their hair stand up on the back of their neck. You know, things like this, people are ready to whip out cash and pay right then and there. They want the power with the website together being all about them, and they're ready to drop money for it because it's a good idea. Most people never had that kind of control. Okay, let me bow back out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so that's what that is. I'm also here to make sure that we get proper information from our sales force that you present to the client. You can see this. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
This is our customer intake form that all the sales team will have filled out by the client, and we'll try to narrow it down. We'll get your feedback if there's just too much stuff here. We want to make sure we get enough information so our team has the ability to do whatever they can within their boundaries to keep the assembly line going as fast and as quick and as smoothly as possible. So that's
and the information isn't required. Scroll back up again. Show how many are optional. I mean, the client will understand that things are optional to fill in because that's how it's set up. But the reality check is just simply whatever you want to give us probably fits on this form. Anything that doesn't, let us know. We'll make sure it does in the future for the rest of time. So the idea is the more they just give us information, the more we know what they want. So they can put anything in there that they know they want, right? And then they send it back to you, and they pay you. And you send the wholesale payment with this copy to, guess who? The sales manager. And he takes care of it from there. And literally that's it. Something like, we're not going to say in a week. We're going to say, what were we going to say, Stephen? I think we were going to say...
Start out with 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. And so tell your client it should be done in 2 to 3 weeks, right? That's appropriate turnaround time. We'll probably have it done quicker. And that way we'll be able to get back to you and let you know, hey, this run is done. Here's how you log in. Here's the panel. You'll always get the access to the guy in the end so that you can go and show it to your client. And if your client has a question, either it's something you can immediately control or you can bring back to us and we'll improve it.
Yeah.
But there you go. Where's the other form, by the way? There's a mock-up of the front page so that as they're staring at this form, did you have that one lying around or not necessarily, the mock-up of the front page?
Yeah, it keeps changing, so I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have the latest one?
Yeah, I don't have the latest one. It doesn't look like our themes at all. It's a little bit off.
Okay, let me show mine real quick just so sales guys get an idea of what that is. And let me see if I get this right again. And then I'll hand it back over to you. Okay, this is another form that goes with. That, of course, we'll touch up also as we do. I just want you to see it real quick. So as clients are filling out the form, they can see what it pertains to visibly. They can see the logos here, you know, telephone number, whatever it is that we want to put here. It doesn't have to be a telephone number. It can be anything, okay? It can just be a link to the Buy Now page. It could be anything, Okay, hours or days of operation. Again, it doesn't have to be hours or days of operation. It's just what we call the box. It can be anything that we can put in here. And then there's the menu bar idea. Then there's the slider, for the sliders, and the lead capture form, or just more of the images to fill in, because we don't have to have an email form in here. Okay. So for all you guys who've been saying in the past, it only works for local business. You have to have a phone number or an email address. You have to have cities we serve. The answer is not anymore, you don't. All these things are completely able to just be traded out for stuff that works for anything, like any ClickBank product. Okay. So we just need to know. That's what the form tells us. And then it just talks about the left sidebar and about the text, where the text goes. And then the optional sections down here that can easily be removed. Any of these sections can easily be removed. And that way they understand what to fill in, what not to fill in, how it looks on the final page, so they're not confused by the form. That's what I wanted to say about that. All right, let me flip it back. I think I got the right guy now.
Sure. Yeah, I'll put that on the website so they can get a hold of that too. And all this stuff, they can get a hold of it through my email. They can give me an email and ask me any questions, or if they need the form sent to them, or if they need those images or whatever. My email address is t2h@att.net, and I can type it in.
Yeah, put it up on a notepad real quick so we get the visual on it. Just throw it up.
Okay.
Or something. Word doc, notepad, whatever. Yeah. Just long enough for them to see your name, how to spell it, so they know who you are.
Let's see, file new.
All right. All right. It's always fun seeing stuff in Notepad++.
Yeah. Can't live without that, huh?
Uh-oh, T2H. Don't get it wrong.
Too fast. And that is the website that we're going to perfect someday with all your questions and answers. And
You got
all
an
your
at.
videos.
You got an at in there, Brad. Was that?
Yeah, is that T2H at? Or just T2H.co?
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So that's what you want people to start paying attention to look for sales information, right?
Correct.
Cool. All right. That's very good. Okay.
Alrighty, and I'll go past that.
Put that in the
You
chat
probably-
box here. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to bring this up. You've seen this before. I sell 10 packs, and that means 10 websites, and I do one key phrase and 10 domains I sell, and this is basically, I always show them with this is what their website looks like. It's pretty self-explanatory. Here's the people on the right, here's the people on the top, and this is what can happen if you start working with us with our websites.
Something I ought to point out, because a lot of people don't know, but it's going to become optional to offer a Moji run in the back end for anybody that's looking for upsells. It's something that you can do if you feel like doing it. So it gives you a second thing to sell to the same clients, is expansion. But when he's talking about 10 packs here, and he's showing this example of the Moji page, he's really trying to demonstrate another concept. Well, eventually we'll take some better screenshots for this. The idea is this. Somebody asked me once, they said, what if I want to sell a client $2,000 a month? They pay $2,000 every month for something, because there are guys who are already used to that. They don't just sell something for $19.95. They sell it on a recurring $19.95 a month. You can cancel any time, but your $19.95 a month will do something for you. And what is the point of that upsell? The point of the upsell, the recurring, what is it you're selling? You're selling a run followed by another run the next month, another professional T2H website the next month with its own panel, another professional T2H website the next month with its own panel. They all wind up pitching the same guy, but they're different. They have different looks, different feels. They could have different logos. They can have different images. They can even have different content. They can be as different as you want them to be. Okay? And then that way, a guy can actually start to saturate the front page. So you see, that's where real ROI comes in. Real ROI isn't just being on the front page. It's overtaking the front page and actually knocking most of your competitors to page 2. So for guys who are interested in upsells, a lot of what people do is they'll sell one, and then they'll talk about like a 3-pack, 5-pack, or 10-pack later, that kind of thing. And believe it or not, people, when they like the results of the first one, they're listening. And when you start talking about giving them a discounted, whatever, 3 for the price of 2 run, that kind of thing, then you're paying us for 2 runs, but your pricing works out in such a way that it's an easy upsell. Then each next month, we'll do the work for them. And of course, you could hand in all the jobs at once. When we get done with the work, we hand the finished information to you and let you decide when to offer it to the client. So if we do 10 jobs for you one month, then that's fine. You might give your client each next one each next month. Who knows? It's whatever you wanted to do. So All right, so continue.
Yeah, and you know what? That right there, what you just said, is so exciting. I mean, we have the possibilities to go further in the future. Right now, we're staying focused on trying to keep getting our website stuff perfected into perfection, and that'll happen. And when that happens, holy cow, really. What I've been doing in the past, this is something that I wanted to share with you, is I made a little rank checker. Because what we do is so awesome, like Dave said, knocking the competitors right off the first page like this. And then they're still confused because they don't understand what's going on. So I made a little rank checker, and this is something that it might be available for, well, I probably can be available for you guys if this is what you want, if this would help you sell. For me, it helps me sell really well. Right here is like the domains that the person bought, which I did. And these here, he bought 10 domains. All right? And what I put into Google search, this one here, I'm focused on dedicated servers for this guy. My niche market is hosting. So only one keyword and one city. All right? And these are the 10 domains that he purchased. And what he probably wants to see is how well do we do what we do. Do we go on are we on the first page? And are we on the first page with just, this one keyword, how many different times and for how many different cities? And I said, no problem. Check out this video. So I made a little rank checker video and I recorded it. And I think this one here is, let's see. Let me slow it down here so you can see what's going on. Start at the beginning again. Okay. So here's the domains. Watch the keyword. It's never going to change. It's still the same keyword for all your pages, and it's just the city changing. And here's the URL so you can keep a track of how many times it shows up on 2 pages deep on the Google search engine. And here we go. We'll go at 100%. That's a normal play time. Up here it shows how many times it shows up between the first page and the second page. If I can, I'll try to back out so you can see this whole thing here.
So you're seeing page 1, then page 2, page 1, then page 2, keyword by keyword. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
There you can probably see a little bit more. There we go.
All right, so this isn't taking the list live so much, but it's just letting them visibly see that they are up for quite a few things. So what we're seeing is the same keyword with different surrounding cities, right?
Yes. And this is a 70-mile radius of cities. The client will probably say, well, you'll ask them, how far do you want to serve on your cities? This client wanted 70 miles, and I took those cities right here. I stuck them in the Google search with the same exact keyword, and this is the results of a year ago. On one time I dealt with these people one time. I set it up, and no emoji runs, no nothing after that day, and this is good to go for a whole year untouched, and it's still holding true. All white hat, no black hat, and when the penguin updates and all that happened, it just made things even better for us because everything that we do is white hat. And when they see something like this and they get it, their mouths just drop, and they just stay silent, and then they say, well, how much is how much is it going to cost me? How much
Yeah,
for the
there you
website?
go. That's
You
cool.
know, and this is a
Very
great
cool.
tool that I used, and it works really well for me. So that might be available for you guys if that's something you would like. Over here, I created a, what I found is when you present what you're doing there, the client at the store, wherever you're doing it, is going to say one thing. And he's going to say, well, what is it going to look like? You know, what is my website going to look like? And you can, what you should do is, and you can't, you know, you just can't go out there and, I hate when it does that. You can't just go out there and be ready for every single person that you talk to because you don't know. So what you need to be good at is using our T2H platform and getting inside there and understanding how to put up a demo, not the entire website, but just enough of a couple images on the front, and show it to the client how easy it is to change things. I'm going to put this over here, and maybe you can start somewhere here in the beginning, or the banner is. There we go. See, we have a regular theme here, and you can go to the client, and you can say, sure, no problem. You want to see what an image looks like? Come over here if you got a few minutes. And I'm going to show you how easy this is to change anything on this website. So if you decide to go with us and purchase this thing, look how easy it is so you can update it. You don't have to hire nobody. You don't have to wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month. You know, you just got to, you can go in here and change your pictures. You can change the content. You can change the text. You don't need a whole bunch of learning curve. Well, you know, I'll be there for you, the salesman, and I'll provide you the videos, and look how easy this is. And when the salesperson goes ahead and demos for them what they can do and what their image is going to look like, and does all this within like 3 minutes, oh my gosh, you know, right then and there, it just frees the guy. If he wanted to do it himself, I can do that, or I can have my kid do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some people, you know, who might say, you know what, I don't know what the heck you just did there. I just wish you paid for it. I could pay you to do this and just do it for me. And of course, the salesperson will say, no problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's just so cool. I mean, where else are you going to find something like this? You're not selling anything. You're just presenting what you do. And here's what you do, and you show it to them, and wow, you know, and they're ready to pay, you know, and
Yeah.
and
It's true that I think I've been able to just sit down with somebody on the other side, throw in a couple of images from their site so they get some of that personal recognition. They recognize themselves in the page, and I'll change some stuff on the page also that looks like them. You know, obvious stuff. If they have a phone number, I put it there. If they have a company name, I make sure it shows up. Welcome to such and such company, whatever it is. And I might copy their front page and just paste it in. Something like that. Just make it look halfway decent for a minute. And I'll make the color, I'll just adjust the colors real quick to be something related to them. And then I'll just turn around and show them. And literally, I mean, it doesn't take long. The guy's on the other end, and they're going to start to have nice questions pretty quick. And as they do, I get to grin and show them answers, because that is the point. The reason we invented Theme2HTML was because the biggest problem I ever have in my business with Moji anyway, and Theme2HTML is a separate product now, but when it started, it was just meant to be an admin panel for HTML websites so that we could make it coordinate with Moji. So you could build any website about any business, and it would already be Moji ready. You don't have coding problems. When you import a web page, you'll import your T2H web page, and it will work right then and there. Everything will work. You can spin it and be done with it. Literally do whatever you want with it in no time flat. That was the purpose. And when we created it and put it out, people started buying it, people started using it, and something new happened to me. Something I've never had happen to me before. No one had questions over how to make it work. No one had questions anymore. It was just easy for them to do. And they'd start to use it, and they'd even start to rank for stuff they want. And one of the first public responses I got was a lady her website lady left, and they had to do their website on their own. They were trying to move it and make it better because they could never get off page 2, and that was at Cedar Run Plumbing. And they're in Cedar Run, Virginia, and they wanted to be best plumber in Harrisonburg, something like that. They're winning lots of major keywords now, and they're showing up at the top, mostly just because T2H is solid the way it is with the coding. And so she just copied and pasted in their website stuff, images, some other things, made it look halfway decent, and that was about all she had to do. All of a sudden, they're up on a front page high for most of their keywords, and they are getting calls and sales. They're getting calls and sales. I've had people ask me this. Some people say themed HTML looks hot, like a WordPress website. Other people say themed HTML, it looks kind of old-fashioned and weird. It doesn't matter to me. We're not in the business of selling beautiful websites. We're in the business of selling convertible websites. We use this model because it converts. It lays so much information out in an organized fashion on the top half of the front page with appropriate information down below that, organized appropriately, that it's extremely useful. It helps get each market segment who came to the page. If you came to the page looking for stop right here where you are, Brad, just to make the point. If you came to the page because you were thinking about chicken fettuccine, then there's that option in front of your face. If you came to the page because you were thinking about pepperoni pizza or whatever that is, there's the option in front of your face. You didn't have to go anywhere to search for it. It's right in front of you. And this kind of thing, the cheese pizza for the kids too, it's there. What's the point? That very quickly we can capture our market and make our message very, very obvious. And that is the point. By the time he gets the colors adjusted, by the time he changes the rest of the stuff up on here, it's going to suddenly look like a pizza site. And it's going to look like a good one. That's the wildest thing in the world. People can't imagine that until they see it, and then they hunger for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, you guys have to experience it. It's just so humbling and so easy, and you just all you're there is just to be a consultant and just present what it is, what it is, just like Dave said, and it's just so simple. Now, sometimes the only objections that I ever hear, besides, well, there isn't any objections except for the money, and the money thing is very, very easy to overcome, at least for me, because the moment I tell them, in order to do this thing, we have 30 specialists that take care of the SEOing, the content, the logos, putting it all together, and so on and so on, and we have to pay them all, and my cost is well up over $1,500–1,700. So the $1,900 price is a very fair amount for what I'm offering, and I can't negotiate it, and the moment I say something like that, because they're business owners, they understand employees, they understand the cost, they understand that many people would require something like, I don't have anybody trying to Jew me down or bringing the price down. Nothing.
And
like
all
that.
of a sudden, they realize you're not just some guy working on his own. No, you have a team. You have 10 positions on a production line for you. This is kind of the way you can actually explain it too. We have divided the work it takes to create your website into 10 specialized sections, 10 separate things that must happen to pull it all off, from logos being created to image gathering, image resizing, they're separate functions. All these functions are important. The content itself, the arrangement of everything, the SEOing is 10 separate sections. We have dedicated experts on each of these, and they have people that they work with, each of them. So there's 2 per section working together to get the double point of view to make sure it comes out right, plus the guy who oversees them, plus yours truly, me, the sales manager, or well, the sales guy who's actually communicating and figuring out what they want and getting it through into the line so that everything works out beautifully. And you can just speak of it as your people, because it's true. You're outsourcing to us, but it's your people. It's your guys. It's your company, in essence. It's your company, and you outsource to us. So that's what you're doing. You're talking about you guys, and you get to call it whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and it brings up the value of yourself and your self-worth and the value to them, and it just makes the sale so much easier. And again, there's just no complaints. It just does very, very smooth sail. And let's see what else we got here. You could present them a bunch of other things. In my case, I presented graphs and graphics of their competitors and what's going on, and that's about it on this.
So these are kind of tools that you can be showing people later with time, right? Just kind of give them an idea of how to look things up and how to make points, you know, to get through the heads of people who wouldn't know otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I also want to bring this up and just say you guys are in the right place. I have to show you this. Out of all the things to sell in this world, I'm not talking, there's so many things out there, right?
Wow, I can see it already.
All right, I'm picking GoDaddy because that's my niche, and I wanted to see what was the number one thing, the number one key phrase that people were searching for. Now you guys can read this. Look at this. How do I get a website up for free? Now it's not for free, but I'm just trying to show you. Let's scroll down a little bit more, and what do we get here? How do you get?
How do you get a website on the internet? I see them. There's quite a few. Get a website.
How do you get a website? Yeah. How do you find a website? How do you get on a website? How do you produce a website? Anything with the words, how do I get a website or how can I produce a website? Look at how many people. 755 million.
Yeah.
That's close to 1 billion, and that's just for this one key phrase. There's probably literally thousands.
Yeah.
This is monthly, average search volume monthly.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. Yeah. It's true. You can walk down the street and find people need websites. Like everyone. Ever do it? Mentally look around you, especially when you go to companies. This is what Brad did here. He started paying attention, and I've heard these stories forever. A guy walks into a jewelry store, and he walks out with a $7,500 check. How many of you have thought about it that way? Usually you walk into the jewelry store to spend the $7,500 to buy something, right? He walks into a jewelry store and walks out with a $7,500 check. Why? Because the jewelry store needs a website, and he can sell them a good one. That's why. And that's exactly what we do here. Can you sell T2H websites for $7,500? Yes. Will people pay $7,500 for them? Yes. Do you need to be pretty good at your pitch and everything to sell for $7,500? Yes. Some of you guys actually already know how to do that kind of thing. But in case you're wondering, it is very fair and normal to be selling a website for $2,500 and up. If you have 25 people working on the website for the client, each of them experts in their field, taking care of the job, then yeah, you're expecting that for 25 people going through your website, focused on it to get it right efficiently for you, and to take care of everything you need, and hand you a panel to completely control it so that the client never has to come back to you to buy something new for that website, unless he wants to. But he's got control of it now. Yeah, $100 per head, $2,500. Very common, normal figure. That's what people expect to spend on a good website, especially one with an admin panel built into it. $3,500 is good with the admin panel built into it, just so you know.
And not to mention, we're not charging monthly like everybody else. We're just giving it to the whole thing. I mean, that's unheard of. I don't know of anybody that does that.
Yeah.
I mean, give them the whole thing, and then give them a little video and maybe show them how to perform and do whatever they want, and probably in less than 10, 20 minutes. This is just incredible, and with this many people looking for you guys, I mean, you guys should be just, me and Bill can't sleep. I swear. She knows how many people are searching for you guys, and all these key phrases, and it's endless. So you just go down the street. Everybody wants to have a presence on the internet, at least for people to find them. They can't even get on the first page if they're typing in what they do in their city. How's anybody going to find them? So, as you can see right here, there's literally billions of searches trying to find us. And all we got to do is just go out there and start. And, like I said, I can't sleep. I don't know how you guys can handle this, but this is just going to go.
Ever figure the numbers out? What happens when you actually get pretty good at doing that kind of a thing? What happens when you make your first sale and you realize what it took, what the guy wanted to hear just was simply you're going to have control over a website that clearly labels information efficiently. So when people land, look at all the different things that they can do right away and how easily you can make your points with the banner slider, and how if you have a YouTube video or anything else, it goes in your left sidebar. Now check this out. You know, when the panel, if you want to try changing colors to see what that would be like, if you want to add some new image, update the phone number, put out a special, you can do it without having to pay anyone anymore. You can just control it. And what happens is that people say yes. Now, I ask, what happens if you're making, let's say you made a sale in a week and you pocketed $1,000, that's $1,000 a week. And literally, let's think about it this way. Let's say you you just do 4 demonstrations. Say you put it out that way. Hey, let me demonstrate this cool, awesome website we can do for you. And so you get some guys saying, I'd like to see a demonstration. You schedule them. They're good enough to come to the demo. So what do? You just show them. Let's say 1 in 4. First of all, it takes like 45 minutes max for a demonstration. That's if you're chatting them through it and talking about it and getting all into the conversation because it's going well and the guy's excited. First time you hear the guy say, whoa, on the other end of the phone, you know you've got their attention, and it won't take long. So you show them a couple of things you can do in the back end, it won't take long. So what happens? Let's say 1 in 4 buy. 2 of them don't have the money yet, but maybe later, so who knows? They might come up later, and I see that happen all the time, like straggler payments from a month ago. That kind of thing happens a lot. And then one guy just doesn't want it. Let's just assume he says, thank you. I'm going to go look at some other stuff, though, and he's just gone. And then one guy says, I want it now, here's the money. Literally, like that, because that will happen. Believe it or not, that'll happen to you every day. Basically, about the time you're hitting 4 or 5 people a day who are coming and seeing what you got, it'll be pretty much every day that somebody says, I want it right now. About everyone's going to say, I want it. So what's the point? What happens when you can pop a sale like that? Okay, if you had 45 minutes, that's 3 hours it would take. 4 of those sessions. 3 hours makes you like $1,000. That's like making $333 an hour, okay? And then you just wrap up the final job with the guy at the end and make sure he's satisfied and he's happy, and that's good. You report back to the sales manager, that client's happy. That's good. That way we know, right? And if you report back, okay, he's happy, but there's one thing wrong. Can you fix this, please? Fine, piece of cake. We'll take care of it. Obviously, we'll take care of it. And so what? It takes you no more than 4 hours to make $1,000 if you think, well, I'm going to put some ads out just saying, hey, let me show you a free demonstration. It's one way to go. You can do this any way you want, but that's one way to go. Let me show you a free demonstration. And the reality check is you have 2 options. First, sell them on the whole website with the admin panel. And if you just can't do it, at least sell them the admin panel. You can make your money doing that with the affiliate system. But the real money is in selling the website with the admin panel. And the guys of you who rise to that level where you're doing it, you'll be surprised. You can make $1,000 a day for no more than 4 hours of work. So if you worked full-time from home, that would be like $2,000 a day times 5 days a week. It's $10,000 weeks. Is it possible? Yeah. So can you hire some kids to help you like look up some leads and stuff? Yeah. Can we show you some efficient ways to gather the right leads and understand who's who? Yeah. So keep checking out what Brad's going to be putting out over the course of time, because he'll put out good training over stuff. I can show you stuff, he can show you stuff, but everything's going to go through Brad, so we have it in one place. It'll be easy for you to get what you need. Cool. All right. I think that's pretty good. Let me see. What do you think? Do you think we should, I don't know if you have anything else right now particularly, or if we should give everyone 5 minutes real quick, let them put their questions in. They'll come back and answer questions. That sound good?
Break.
All right. That sounds pretty good. All right. Let's take like a quick break here. We'll come back in a handful of minutes, and yeah, like 5, and we'll just start going through the questions. Okay?
See you then.
All right. See you real soon. All right.
Okay.
All right, cool. I want to start going through some of these questions, see what we got here. With me, we learned about Moji yesterday and still totally thrilled. Excellent. Good to hear, Christian. We were going offline. Okay, very good. Oh, that's an interesting question, too. I'm just kind of going through all this stuff. Okay, we're not talking about Moji in this particular session at all. We're talking about theme to HTML. They're different softwares, of course, and so what you can do with Moji and what you can do with theme to HTML are certainly different, just to keep them in mind. All right. Journey need to work in German. Okay. Theme to HTML in German. I haven't tried it. You may have to revert to UTF-8 encoded characters or some such thing for like Umlauts and so on. German characters. I don't know. You can give it a crack and see, right? You can always hop on the rental of theme to HTML. It's just $25 for a month and start playing with it and see if you can dial in the settings the way you need. For a different language. We can't support language packs at this time, but for websites, usually UTF-8 encoded characters are going to work pretty well for what you need. So it's just something to consider. Let me see. But in the meantime, yeah, if you want to make money with it, though, sell to anybody who wants to sell websites in English until such time as. All right. Let's see. Until such time as we're supporting language packs of one or another. We haven't looked into that yet. Let me see. Will there be a central location for images and examples of the sites created? There will. Definitely, because sales needs things like that to draw from, or would like to have things like that to draw from. So some of you guys are making sales. We're getting results. We can publish the results. It's another thing, by the way. You can offer them a discount if they're willing to share results publicly. The call center in Las Vegas is about to start selling, and they're going to be doing that real soon. And when they do that, one of the first big drop offers that they're going to make, they offer highball, and then if the guy is fine with everything else, and now it's just negotiating over cost, okay, they start by offering highball, and then if the guy is wavering and trying to think about what he can do, one thing you can do is offer him a drop, and the drop might be, well, we'll knock however much off. Say you're selling for $19.95, we'll knock $400 off if you let your results be publicized. See, one reason for the expense is the way you position, especially if you're selling it for a higher cost, like $7,500 or $4,500, depending on the client. You kind of feel out what the client can afford. Obviously, a dentist can afford a lot more than a bicycle repair shop in the middle of a mountain town where they just don't have a lot of people coming through. The mountain shop guy, you may just give him a better deal, and obviously the dentist, you can just go ahead and charge him a higher price because they can pay it, and they would normally pay it. Something to keep in mind. What I want to say is, when you're selling highball, one of the reasons for the high price anyway is that you're not working for the guy's competition. You're not working for another guy in the same industry, in the same surrounding city range. Okay, that's an offer you can make. Again, it's how you do business. It's up to you, but that's what people like to do. And that way, what they're doing is they're paying you extra for exclusivity. You could go after 10 different guys and put them all on the front page. And that's if you're selling cheap. But one of the reasons guys are selling highball is they do not want you working for a competitor in their city. And what they're doing is buying you out. They're paying you the equivalent of 8 jobs out of the 10 as a discount credit to them, but they're paying you that high, and therefore, however much, $4,500, $7,500, anything in between, is exactly so you keep your hands off the other guys. They bought them out. Okay? It's kind of like if you wanted the whole plane to yourself, when you take a trip somewhere, you buy all the seats in the plane, you get the whole plane to yourself. Well, when a guy doesn't want you working for his competition, he has to understand that you have an opportunity to go after a competitor of his just in the natural course of doing business. Or a competitor of his may approach you. Well, they're paying you so you don't let the competitor, you don't do work for the competitor. And that just means you don't do work for another guy doing the same business in the same city range. And we're not telling you that's how you run your business. We're just saying this is one way you explain a higher price if somebody asks. Now, if the guy can't really afford it, then you could say, tell you what, we'll stick to the exclusivity, but we would like to make your results public. And usually when people are paying high line, that's because you're keeping their results private and you're not letting their competitors in. They don't want their competitors to find out how they did it. They don't want their competitors to figure out who you are, and they frankly don't want you talking about them and their results. They would rather you didn't. Okay, we get that a lot. All right, and so when you can offer them a discount from the top, if they can share their results publicly, you're going to lock them into one of two choices. Either realize that when they hunted for a discount and you went there, that they don't want the discount anymore. They just want to stick with the original deal after all, and they snap out of it, and now they're ready to pay you full price. Or they're fine with that, that's okay with them, and they're happy for the discount, they're willing to share their results, and that's how you position it. And here's how you can really position it. Not only are we going to share your results, we're going to put them on a portfolio page and tell people, go look and see where you're ranking, and click and check that it's really them. What's good about that? Well, what do you think is good about that? That's literally not just, you're not backlinking them, but you're saying, go search Google. You're saying to other people who would be curious, go search Google, go find the company and click their link. You know what? That's great for them because it keeps new clients coming and clicking on their link. So they get more people and more people clicking on their link. Guess what that does? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of keeping it at the top of the front page because it's getting more attention than the other links for the same keywords. Believe it or not, you're offering the guy a discount and you're giving him a better click-through rate. Isn't that funny? Because he's willing to open up to your market and let people out of curiosity see you, go search Google, see if you're still there, click on your link to make sure it's still the same business. Okay.
Dave, there's another angle of the dangle on that I presented to people, and that's how come I can sell the 10-packs pretty easily. Is if you're worried about your competitor, I'll reduce the price a little bit if you get 3, 7, or a 10-pack, and you can dominate for that city as well. I'm not going to go to your competitor if you're going to be going for the same keyword, the same city.
Got it. Yeah, that's cool. So what you can actually do for that high payment, whatever it is, if it's high enough anyway, like a 10-pack, is exactly say, if you're paying for them and before anyone else is paying for them, then I won't work with anyone else in your area because it's just you. We're going to get you on those front pages. You're those guys. Yeah. That's interesting. That's very good. There's a lot of ways to go. You can charge half down, half to follow. Anyone haven't thought of that? Believe it or not, a lot of people respond better and they buy faster when you do that. They just do. $12.50 down and $12.50 to follow looks cheaper than $2,500 down. Don't ask me why. It just does. But it's more manageable for them. They get to make 2 payments spread over a period of time, right? $12.50 down because you obviously need the payment to get everyone to do the work. You can't work for free, okay? But you can take half down to do the work, okay? And then when the work is done, you can hand it to the client. You can hand them their login information, everything else, for the other $12.50. They have to pay you the other $12.50, and yes, talk about it as being very important, and because it's precious what you built for them, and once you hand it over, they could take it away from you completely, right? And that is true. So it's very important that you get the second half payment before you give it over to them, and when you pitch it that way, they have more faith in the thing themselves, but they did anyway. And anyone who wonders, I've never had a guy make a first half payment and not make a second half payment for all the obvious reasons, right?
And it's easier for the business owner to come up with half the amount of money and not worry about the full amount of money, and because it's a 2 to 3 week job, and they can always come up with that other half of money later. So yeah, it's very comfortable for them.
All right, let me see. Let me continue with some of these things. All right, we're fine. Okay, where do we find the client intake list forms? Brad's going to have that for you. He'll have the client intake form and the mock-up of the front page so that you could easily hand both items over to the client in an attachment, email attachment, when they pay, and say, now just fill out this information when you're ready, and that attached image will just help you see what the page is all about so you know where things go. Okay, very simple. Let me see. Yeah, charging monthly. Exactly. There are ways to charge monthly. We were discussing that. Okay. T2H does not have inbuilt Moji technique. Moji, what we did to make those two work together was make the Moji toolbar work with theme to HTML, the website. Okay. So theme to HTML is the front end, Moji's the back end in this case. And what you're going to do in the future for the easiest way to go is first build a website in theme to HTML and then use the Moji toolbar to import it and manipulate it from there. The version of the Moji toolbar that works is version 18. You need to have version 18 for it to work automatically with theme to HTML. And that's because it was outfitted with coding to handle the header section, the left sidebar, the banner slider, so it recognizes that stuff when it comes in, and it works around it properly. Okay, nothing breaks. Okay, let me see. A way to implement order forms. A very simple way. Do you guys know that you can put external links on the websites? As a matter of fact, that exact same question came out before. You know, let me just do this real quick, I guess, because I can just do this real quick. All right, you guys see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. 10-pack price, this is a good point. Well, we don't have discounts on the line. It's just a flat wholesale price for every single run that comes through the line. That's all we can do because it's going to be too complex for the line to try to keep different prices and different deals going. It's just going to be bizarre after a while, so we cannot do that. All you have to know is what we're selling for. Right now, it's $9.95. It'll probably drop down a little. It might be $8.95. It might be $9.95. It might be somewhere in the middle. But you will not cross $1,000. We will keep it under $1,000. Now, that's the wholesale. So anything beyond that, that's yours to keep. So if you sold for $12.50 down, $12.50 to follow, here's what happens. You get paid your $12.50. You hand us the $9.95 if it were, and then that's $2.55 you got. And then what? We do the work, and you got $2.55. You already made money. And maybe it took you a couple of hours or 3 hours, but that's still crazy money, isn't it? That's like $80 an hour you're making. Okay? Now what? Now we get the run finished, hand it to you, and you tell the client, okay, I've got all your login information and your website information here for you. Everything is ready. I need the second half payment. Here's the link. And then I can walk through all this stuff with you, make sure you understand what's going on, make sure you're satisfied with everything, and see if there's any other questions that I can answer for you. So the guy makes the second $12.50 payment. And you owe us none of it because you already paid us. That's why it's a wholesale payment. It's just a wholesale payment. And once you pay it, you're done. We don't do halvesies on that. It's just the way you would do it. So if we're doing $9.95, you can offer $12.50 times 2. Matter of fact, you know how just for some of you, $12.50 times 2 is almost like a magic number. It's amazing how many companies go for that because it seems high enough to be a believably good business, believably good service. And we just promise we're not done until you're fully satisfied. You don't make that second half payment until you're happy with what's going on or whatever. I mean, you can do it however you want. And by the way, for any of you who are wondering, you can give full control over to the guy for the finalized website, everything. And if they do not make that second half payment to you that they're supposed to make to you, let us know. We can cut it off. We can actually cut it off. Their stuff, because they didn't make that payment. We have that control. That just means the guy will pay you or he won't get his goods until he does pay you, just so you know. Are you going to run into that? I have never run into that. And the reason I say $12.50 times 2 is a magic number, I mean, when we moved to Seattle from Elkhart, Indiana, where we were before, I just put out some offers for $12.50 down, like $12.50 was the first payment, $12.45 was the second payment, so I could keep my accounting separate between second payments and first payments. And we took off. And we meandered over to Seattle, and I think it took us like 5 days because we kept stopping to see something else on the way, or 6 days. And then we pulled into a friend's house because we were just checking it out, see the area and seeing if we really did want to move in. And while we were staying there, I started working and answering some of the calls that came in, and I just answered a couple of the calls that came in. The guy took off the one day. He came back that evening, and he kind of looked out the window, his hands in his pocket. He was just curious. He goes, "Did you make any money today?" I say, yeah, I got to kind of grin to myself. I knew he was going to ask. I got to say, yeah, 7,500. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I collected 3,750 of it today. The other half will come when I get done doing the work. Back in that day, it took like a month to do the work. So I could only make 7,500 a month on a run like that, custom runs, right? That's why I always avoided pushing them hard. People say, why don't you do Moji runs on your own stuff? There's the answer. Because then I got 5, 10 people lined up all trying to pay me and get their work done, and somehow I can't get to their work for 9 months. So yeah, I'd be getting, back charges for most of the guys, because as far as they're concerned, I'm ignoring them. I mean, I'm there, but months are passing, so it's not okay. You know what I mean? All right. Let me see. I wanted to do this real quick. Popping in the back office, if you don't know this, you can go to the pages and you can create a page, okay, like add a new page, okay, and what you can do is instead of it being a normal page with a menu link, this is for doing things like adding order forms for pizzas and stuff. Let's say you have that on some different page. Then we can do an external page link. And the menu name here could be order, order form, or whatever it is, right? Parent page's root in this case, page URL is, guess what? External page link means ignore the .html on the end. Just put a link to anywhere on the entire internet. As a matter of fact, let me just show you. Google.com. There's a pizza place I love is Amante's Pizza, and that's in Issaquah where we're at. And Amante's Pizza in Issaquah's got a menu, so I'm just showing you. Order online, da-da-da-da-da. Got it. Boom. So just to show you, that should work. I haven't tried it, but I think it'll work. BAP. And save. And if I'm right about that, let me take some other page down just to make some room. So I'll just flip something off just to make sure there's enough room. Okay. Now, if I come back to the front end and refresh, okay, wherever that is, order form right here. You see that? Okay. There's the order form. This would be like the menu order form. And when I go, it goes right there. All right, so anybody who's wondering, yeah, it's easy to do that. You could embed a link anywhere. I just happened to put one in the menu, just nice and easy in the back end. You saw me do that. That was not hard, right? And if I want to turn it off, I can turn it off. If I want to turn something else on with all of its related pages, I can turn it on, and I'm back to normal in this case, right? Of course, you can save all the versions of the work you do, so you can just make different websites all the time. Right? But that's why we have a production line to take the work out of your hands. But you can demo stuff left and right. I just did a demo of how to create a link in the menu that points to an important page. See? All right. So, let me see. Their way to implement. Yeah. Da-da-da-da-da. Then back. When you're paying. All right. Okay, Curtis, by the way, what does that mean? How much you're paying? Are you meaning the production line? That's the stuff that's happening on the production line. Specialists make around $40 an hour for their work. That's about where we're starting right now. As they get more efficient, it actually turns into more. Because we're not paying by the hour, we're paying by the project. If we paid by the hour, then you'd have an incentive to slow down. We don't want you to slow down. We want you to speed up and figure out how to do work more efficiently. So if you're paid by the project, you have an incentive to outthink yourself, to come out with a better way of doing it, and therefore being able to do more work in less time. Okay? Let me see. Okay. So, yeah, I think we've covered all the major questions at this point. I've just been kind of going through the questions list here. Yeah, all the runs, of course, cost whatever it is, like $9.95 for the production line. That's what you need to know is the wholesale price of doing the work. So as a salesman, you take that, that's your cost, and you mark it up. That's your profit. Everything above it's your profit. So you take what we need, add on what you want, sell it for that. That's retail. People pay you directly. You know you're getting your money in your hands, and you outsource to us the run. That's how that works. So you just make the payment to us to get all the work done. And in that way, you don't have to get bogged down for weeks or a month doing the work. You just turn around and sell more runs. Nice and simple.
Don't forget about PayPal. They take a little bit.
Curtis, I answered your question. How much you're paying the T2H production line technicians per project? It's about $40 an hour to the specialists is about what they're earning, and about $100 an hour to the managers. That's the managers, okay? That's how much we're paying them, all right? And then as they get better at their projects, it actually turns into more, okay? So there you go. All right. So anyway, yeah, it's funny. I mean, there are literally 25 people involved on the run. You know, that's just how all that works. Yeah, we're paying by the project. It works out to about oh, here's the part you don't know. Part of our job on the production line was to figure out the project scope of everything and make sure that every project takes about half an hour to complete. You get it? So 2 projects an hour pays like $20 per project, but it takes half an hour to do. And so 2 projects takes an hour, right? But then there's 2 people for each of the positions, plus the people overseeing everything, plus the R&D, plus the hard cost, plus profit. So all that stuff is wrapped into that price, complete with just taking care of you so you can take care of your sales guy, or your clients, sorry. So there you go. It's just the hard cost. All right. Let me see. Any other questions, guys? And if not, then that was good for a Sunday evening. We got this recording done. We're going to be able to put it out if you want to review it anytime. And once again, it's Brad Glazier, and for all your questions, and to get on his list, right, let him know that you're interested and you want to chat with them and anything new we have coming out. You just want to know what he's got so you can take off and start making money. There you go. Runs have already started to appear, actually, and we haven't even begun. There's a whole call center in Las Vegas, like I said. That's starting off with, I think we have, what is this, 23 desks set up and 10 computers set up for people who are going to walk in with suit and tie, sit down, and start literally calling companies and landing those sales. These are runs that are going to go straight into the production line. And so there's going to be a lot of work for specialists coming out in the production line. And as sales learns how to do their job and learns how to do it better, then there you go. It just keeps paying more. It's actually a ridiculous amount of power you have if you can sell and not have to do the work. It really can set you free in a quick hurry. All right, guys, I think you know what's going on. So, yeah, any closing wrap-up chat? And Sabrina, let me see if I can pop you up by now. I was sorry about that. I kind of muted her out because there was an echo. Oh, there's the echo. Hi, Echo. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Echo. How you doing? Thanks for the presentation, Brad. It was great. I finally found out what a 10-pack was. I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, that's very cool. And that's exactly what oh, boy, let me mute you. Sorry, Sabrina, I keep muting you. The speakers are strong. Yeah, that's exactly what the call center in Las Vegas is pretty much aimed on. For them, that is the main project in the first place, right? That's really what's going on there. So, yeah, pretty soon there's just going to be a simple mechanism. Where you go to get your forms and where you make the payment is all we need and all you need. And you can just start business from there. Figure out what you want to set up. And anytime you have any questions figuring out how to get going, get a hold of Brad. Some of you guys are going create a website. Some of you don't need that. You just need to hit the phone. Some of you you'll set up your demo website, your themed HTML demo, and that's really all you need besides a payment page. And any of those things are really all you need to get going in business, and then just a couple of pitches. And that's pretty much it. It's really up to you how you run your business, but that's a really simple way to go. Why are they wearing suits in Las Vegas? Because it's professional. It's a very professional office. The people walking in are divided into teams that compete with each other. It's a huge office space with very expensive art hanging on the walls. It's absolutely a business environment in Las Vegas. They're aiming huge, right? They're not doing garage door operation stuff. They're working large. For them, the typical sale is $2,000 a month times 12 months, and that's before any upsells. That's the idea. Okay. Commissions are hot and heavy, and those guys are expected to get a bare minimum 10 sales per month, or they can't work there. Okay, that's it. that's exactly how that place is going. So it's a boiler room, you know, for big runs. So life can get very intriguing, you know. Oh, that's very neat, Christian. Yeah, that's very cool. There's a lot that we can do there. So as we get ours finalized and everything gets done, then, yeah, we're going to be looking at what else we can do and more. And for guys who certainly are comfortable setting up call centers and stuff, then, yeah, we're going to be interested in talking to you. You can bet. And we're going to be able to tell you exactly what to do. So this stuff is getting big and getting bigger. Everybody get on for the ride. This is just opening. It's getting huge, and it will work. And for specialists, you can bet they're going to want to pour in and do their jobs well because they don't want to lose the positions, right? Who's ever heard of a production line on the internet? You know? You can't just find them every day. And so people really want to be a part of that because it's a very good way to do business from home. It's like being employed without needing to be employed, but making your money from home, and you can work on your own schedule. That's the kind of stuff that makes that work. And for all of us sales guys, it means you make a lot more money because you're not doing the work yourself. You're intentionally handing it over and hitting the calls or your emails or your pitches for the next guys to line them up. Can you make 2 or 3 sales a day? You can. You can. So that's where you can go. You know, it's up to you. Obviously, you'll have a lot of freedom to come and go as you want with that kind of power. And that's the purpose of handing the runs over to someone else. It doesn't bog you down. You just keep moving at full speed without getting bogged down. All right. Any closing thoughts, Brad?
I'm just so happy and thrilled to be part of this team, and I'm here for all you guys as much whatever I can do. If I don't know something, I will request it, and I'll have an answer back, and you can get a hold of me through this email, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
All right, very good. Thanks a lot for the call tonight, Brad. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up, get the recording out, and yeah, thanks to everyone for coming and seeing what's going on and getting going, and direct all your questions to Brad. We'll feed him everything he needs on our end. He'll feed you what you need on your end, and you're going to be able to start anytime you want. Like I said, we've already got runs coming in now. You can do runs now. You can put runs through now if you really want. And right now, it's $9.95. As a matter of fact, for those who haven't seen it, this is where this sits for the moment. This is where you would be able to go to get a run paid for at this moment. But get a hold of Brad for the forms, because he's the one that has that. And all of you know the purchases page for Website Marketing Solutions, right? This is where it is. And if you just have never seen how to get there, an easy way is moji-crew.com. When you go there, if you go to buy Moji, it takes you to that page. It's just because in the old days, right, do-it-yourself, own Moji. In the old days, all of our products were on Website Marketing Solutions before they became sort of their own things. But when you get here, the top choice up here is the full-scale theme to HTML website and admin panel at wholesale. And this is where you can come and pay for a run and tell us who you want it done for and how you want it done and where to deliver it. So all you need to know is this is where you make the payment. So you upsell and charge anything you want, and you pay here. And in the meantime, like I said, get a hold of Brad for the sales forms to be able to send the client. So when you get a payment, you want to send the guy a form, or if you want to send him a form first, just to put it on next to your payment button, go get it. And then Brad will give it to you, and you'll be able to get the information back to Brad. He'll know what to do with it. All right, guys, thanks a lot for coming, and I'll go ahead and wrap this up. And literally, you guys can start being in business now. You can literally take off and see how fast it takes you, how long it takes you to know enough to show a demo off and to make a sale and do whatever you want to do with it. All right, talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot for coming, guys.